Hi, Faith McDonnell here to talk about the Nuba Mountains of Sudan. You know, when I came to the IRD, one of the first things that I did was to go to the General Convention of the Episcopal Church, and this was in 1994. We put out a resolution, which I think was the first resolution that the Episcopal Church in the United States had ever had on Sudan. And part of that resolution was to condemn the genocide and ethnic cleansing that was going on in the Nuba Mountains of Sudan. That was 1994. This is 2016. Today, we're especially condemning the genocide and ethnic cleansing going on in the Nuba Mountains of Sudan. Again, today. I won't say still, because after the first war, there was a period of peace, even though there wasn't a period of complete freedom in the Nuba Mountains. But on this day, June the 6th, in 2011, the genocidal jihad against the Nuba people began again by the government of Sudan and has been continuing since that day. In the first war, something like 1.8 million people were killed or taken away from their homes, had to flee from their homes in the Nuba Mountains. And things are happening again. There have been something like 4,000 bombings in the Nuba Mountains. The government of Sudan flies Antonov Russian cargo planes that they've changed into bombers, or they're flying Sukhois now, and all kinds of more advanced weaponry as well. Plus, they, on June 6, 2011, started rampaging through the Nuba Mountains, killing people, slaughtering people. There are mass graves still in the Nuba Mountains because of this, because they want to get rid of the Black African indigenous people of the Nuba Mountains. Well, today, my friends who are Nuba in the United States are in front of the United Nations to demonstrate against this genocide that continues to take place and has not stopped now for 5 years. People who are living in caves, trying to avoid the bombs, trying to survive without being able to farm. These are farmers. These are very self-reliant, proud people. They're not a bunch of whining complainers, but they have had to flee to the caves. They've had to flee to refugee camps, which the UN is threatening to close now. And really, it's a disgrace. It's more than a disgrace. It's abominable that this is still continuing. So the people from Nuba and their friends are in front of the UN today demonstrating against what's happening, and they have a petition which we're going to put on our website as well and on the blog, Juicy Ecumenism. And just to tell you the kinds of things we're asking along with the Nuba people for the United States, the United Nations, and world leaders to do. Reconsider and reform the policy of pressuring the victims of Sudan's aggression to make deals with the oppressive dictatorship. I'll tell you a secret. If it were ground war completely, the Nuba would have won by now. The SPLA North, the Sudan People's Liberation Army North, that military is winning all the ground battles. They have taken back all the land that the government of Sudan forces took. They're brilliant fighters, and they want freedom and democracy for all Sudanese. But because of the air battle, because of these evil bombing raids on civilians in hospitals, churches, schools, marketplaces, and homes, they can't win this way. They need help. They need anti-aircraft weapons. We need a safe zone, and that's another thing. The second point of this says, prevent aerial attacks on civilians, either by the imposition of a no-fly zone, the destruction of the National Congress Party aerial assets, or other means, such as support to those who are fighting. If we can support sketchy people in Syria that we're not even sure are on our side. We should be supporting the SPLA North and the brave commander of it, Abdelaziz Adam al-Hilu, who is a man who wants true secular democracy and freedom for all the Sudanese. They also asked that we would retain sanctions against the government of Sudan. That should be a no-brainer, but unfortunately, some people in our government have been charmed by the Sudanese government and even lifted sanctions against a cement company recently that is building dams to flood the people of Nubia in the far north. That's another issue. Maybe I'll get a video on that later. They also want to work with the UN Security Council to create, monitor, and deliver sufficient humanitarian aid. People are dying, eating leaves and bugs and roots in these caves in the mountains. They have no medical supplies. There's one hospital in the Nuba Mountains, and it's been bombed by the government. So we need to take this humanitarian issue at bay. And so those are the things that they're asking, plus describing what's been happening over these years, and you'll find this petition. Please think about the people of the Nuba Mountains and pray for them, and ask our government to finally do something real and constructive to help them and to basically help us, because this is a national security issue as well. The government of Sudan is totally committed to the global caliphate that the Islamic State is trying to build. They were committed to it long before the Islamic State even existed. So for our own sake, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of the people of the Nuba Mountains, and for all of Sudan and Africa, please get involved and pray for the people of Nuba Mountains, pray for Sudan, and look at this petition and see how you can help to encourage it with your member of Congress and with our State Department. You know, this is also D-Day. We had brave Americans, amazing young men who gave their lives to bring freedom to Europe. Now we have an Islamic government that is trying to take away the freedom of the people in Sudan, has taken away the freedom. We need a D-Day for the Nuba Mountains and a D-Day for Sudan. And the SPLA North are those brave men, but we're not getting behind them. It's time for the United States to get behind the true freedom fighters and support them in changing Sudan into a country that has peace and freedom. Thanks, and God bless you. Bye.